So, hello everyone, this is Angel REL999. Okay, so I actually originally started doing this podcast a while ago, but I found that I was actually ranting instead of actually giving a cohesive, coherent thought. Recently, I went into a forum and I hear, geez, card readers are not better than mediums or people who don't use tools. Actually, the term tools in this case refers to people who use cards, dials, or pendulums, I'm assuming. Just anything other than I hear it in my head and I'm regurgitating it to you. I'm finding that the people who are actually talking about this or saying, don't get a reading from so-and-so because they read cards, are actually the people with a overtly inflated sense of importance. And it's really pathetic because neither technique is better than the other, but of course there are some advantages one has over the other, but I digress. So here are some common bitchings that I've heard from different people. First, one needs a tool in order to read. Like don't get a reading from so and so because they need a tool, i.e. cards or a pendulum, in order to give a reading. That's a dumb, very stupid reason. I'd get to a reason why, but why does it matter as long as you get the results, quite frankly? Another excuse is that card readers aren't reliable, which in comparison to mediums, those who do automatic writing, essentially that doesn't involve quote unquote a tool, which is interesting because automatic writing actually kind of does involve a tool, pen and paper, but I digress. I think that's stupid as well because once again, you know whether or not they're reliable based upon the results that are given. Another common argument is that there is no psychic skills or ability involved in card reading, dowsing, and the like. That is actually also false. Dowsing is very interesting as another cup of tea entirely, but there is a sense of balance within oneself that you have to maintain in order to read for dowsing. I didn't talk about card reading and how that works with a little bit of authority here. Just because you see cards and you know what they mean doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to draw conclusions from them. There is an underlying sense of, using your own intuition and understanding what the cards mean. So, of course, that statement is also false. Okay, here's another common bitching. Card readers communicate with spirits. To be frank, I hear this more so from people who are religious nuts, but I'll humor you on the matter. It is possible for card readers to, communicate with spirits reading cards. It's not fluid, but it's possible. Now, within the frame or scope of one who prefers mediumship over card reading, that's literally like calling the kettle black. But I'll get into why in a minute. The last one is that mediums who make this complaint don't tend to have a reason why mediumship outweighs cartomancy or those who divine using cards. This one's kind of an annoyance. Mediums and those who are divinely inspired without tools are better than those who divine with tools. Once again, that's stupid. There is no better or worse. There is a matter of ability, but that even then, that ability really boils down to how effective and accurate you are. Of course, that's a bunch of bullcrap. Now that I've, given you a pretty condensed gist as to why, or to some of the common complaints about using quote-unquote tools and stuff for divination, let me go ahead and talk about some of the issues that I have with mediumship, just, to be a bitch. I totally dislike the concept of self-efficacy with regard to mediumship. I feel as though more than likely people who practice mediumship, who, say, I'm getting such and such talking to me, I'm getting someone who has a letter B in their name or in one of their ancestors' name. That stuff, I believe, is a bunch of crap. And, well, maybe it's not, but it doesn't sit well with me, because how are you going to verify whether or not it's, I don't know, a B rather than a C? How are you going to be able to measure your own accuracy if everything is basically based upon your own perception? There's no possible third-party attribute or third-party way of measuring how accurate you are, except, when it's too late and someone pays you $60 to do a reading and nothing happens. So that's my issue with mediumship. You don't have this problem with playing cards. If I see something in the cards and I follow the guide of the cards and I know the definition of the cards, I can pretty much get a pretty good gist as to what's going to happen. I'm not going to say that Regina Russell in her book is entirely accurate, but she says card readers are about 85 to 95% accurate in their readings. Now, of course, that varies with skill level, but at least, once again, hypothetically, let's say that the actual error rate is 50%. 1 out of 2 times I'm going to be wrong, and 1 out of 2 times I can probably figure out why I was wrong. I can't do that with mediumship. And once again, I might not be per se an authority, but the closest thing to mediumship I've ever been to is through automatic writing. And I wasn't too comfortable with that. A lot of crazy, stupid stuff came out from that. Overall, all in all, neither is better than the other. But one has a better rate of, measurement of how accurate one is than the other. And unfortunately, that's with playing cards. It does not mean that all because you use playing cards or quote-unquote tools that you have no psychic ability. I believe that everyone has psychic ability. It's just a matter of cultivation, faith. Faith is a big one. It's a huge one. And just general diligence in developing your craft. On top of that, a lot of people are claiming mediumship abilities or medium-like abilities, whatever, without even actually studying, meditating, or any of that stuff. And I have a problem with that. Of course, there are the prodigies and all this other stuff. Those are few. So, with that being said, I just want to give my 2 cents. I would prefer if people stop comparing, dissing each other. We are all in a learning process, so it shouldn't really be an issue. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Stop trying to purposely discourage others. So that's all I have to say about the matter. Be curious and stay tuned for my next video and or podcast.